Hi, I'm Jack and welcome back because today I'm going to give you guys my video for my most anticipated movies of 2023. This is the very first video I'm posting this year for a new year for both my channel and for every one of us as a whole. And I'm looking forward to seeing what this year brings in terms of movies. And I hope you guys will stick around for the ride as we start this brand new year. So with that said, let me know down below in the comment section what's your most anticipated movies of the year. Really looking forward to hearing that down below in the comments. And kick things off some honorable mentions to where they don't quite reach the list, but I'm looking forward to them. Nevertheless, we have Rebel Moon, Blue Beetle, Wonka, Evil Dead Rise, Dungeons & Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, Asteroid City, and a special shout out for Cocaine Bear. Those are movies that I'm really looking forward to, but they don't quite make the cut, but I'm still looking forward to them nevertheless, just to give you guys a heads up on that. And now that we're going to kick off with my top 15 most anticipated movies of the year, kicking things off, we have the Super Mario Bros. Movie at 15th place. I love Mario, I love the games, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing of the trailers here. It definitely seems like the animation is exactly what I imagined for a world like Mario, and majority of the voice cast I think sounds really good as the characters here, and it definitely seems like it has that vibe to where, just as I expect from Mario, it's fun, has this otherworldly feel to it with Mushroom Kingdom, and so it's seeming like it's going to be a lot of fun. I love the animation. I like the cast assembled for this. And as somebody that loves Mario, we have Rainbow Road here. We got Bullet Bill. We got Pipes. We have Bowser. We got the Star. I am really looking forward to this movie, especially because, again, I'm not the biggest Illumination fan, but this movie definitely seems like it could be a slam dunk for me. And so far, on my list is going to be the Super Mario Bros. Movie, so I cannot wait to check this one out soon. In 14th place is The Marvels. Captain Marvel is a good movie, although it's one of my least favorite movies in the MCU, but I love Brie Larson as an actress, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing what's next for her character in The Marvels here. Obviously, we don't know too much about this movie, but I am looking forward to the fact that we're getting Kamala Khan here, and so as having Monica Rambeau return in this movie for the first time since WandaVision, and having Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and Monica Rambeau all together is a recipe for a lot of really cool things in store. And so you got the director of the recent Candyman movie, which I haven't seen, but I'm curious to see what Nia DaCosta's take on Captain Marvel is going to be. And so as the cast members that have been assembled for it, I'm really hoping that this is the movie that's going to really deliver on what we want from a Captain Marvel movie from the MCU. And I'm looking forward to seeing the dynamic between those three. And I know the story idea being about they're swapping places or something like that, especially because of the end credit scene of Miss Marvel. So really looking forward to it. I think there's a lot of potential for us to be a really good sequel. And as somebody that loves the MCU, while I don't know too much about this movie, it's definitely not as higher up on the list. I'm still really looking forward to seeing what's up with this one this summer. In 13th place is Barbie. Never in my life have I expected to ever say that Barbie is one of my most anticipated movies of the year, yet here we are. Life is full of surprises, and this one is definitely one of them.
What's happened's happened.
But with all that said, we have Greta Gerwig, who directed Lady Bird and Little Women, which I love Little Women, directing this movie, and you have her working alongside Noah Baumbach, who directed Marriage Story, one of my favorite Netflix movies and movies of 2019, writing this movie with a cast starring Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, Simu Liu, and many more. Sign me up, because I love Margot Robbie. Again, she came off of Babylon, which was a polarizing movie, but has her best performance ever, in my opinion. And Ryan Gosling finally making his big comeback to movies ever since he did The Gray Man last year. And I like the cast assembled here. And obviously, I am just curious to see what exactly does Greta Gerwig have in store with this one, because I love the cast assembled. And seeing that trailer with some of those 2001: A Space Odyssey references there, and just seeing how colorful and vibrant it is. This one is a movie where it's not what I expected to be here, but I'm very curious to see it nonetheless. In 12th place is Scream 6. While it's a bummer that Neve Campbell will not be returning as Sidney Prescott for the first time in a Scream movie, I am still nevertheless really intrigued by what Radio Silence and the crew have in store with Scream 6. One of the things that makes me really excited for this one is because for the very first time, we're going to be in a much more urban environment with New York City. I love New York City, and having a Scream movie there is a recipe for a lot of great stuff in store. There's going to be a lot of good locations for him to have some really shocking moments, some gnarly kills, and so as having Sam and Tara Carpenter back as the main characters with brand new cast members in the mix like Josh Segarra and Samara Weaving. And so as Courtney Cox once again returning as Gale Weathers here. And so from that little teaser, I'm liking what I saw from that teaser, although it doesn't reveal too much, but it's a teaser. But it definitely seems like it's going to be a very gruesome movie, and so as the fact that they're saying it's more violent than even Scream 5 was. So I'm really looking forward to Scream 6 because I love the Scream franchise. It's probably my favorite horror franchise of all time because my favorite horror movie is that first Scream movie. So really looking forward to this one because I love Scream. I love the idea of a Scream movie in New York City, and I cannot wait to see who's going to be the Ghostface killer and see as Sam and Tara and the crew go up against Ghostface once again. In 11th place is Fast X. Fast X, Fast 10, however you guys call it. I'm really looking forward to this movie. I love the Fast and Furious franchise because while it's not the most logical of the franchises with how things play out, it's definitely one of the most fun ones out there where they just commit to the over-the-top insanity they go for with every movie ever since Fast 5, which is my favorite of the Fast and Furious movies to date. And we even got to see them go to space in F9, and that was amazing.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
So I'm really curious to see what they have in store with Fast X, especially with kind of some of the behind-the-scenes drama with Justin Lin leaving, and then they got the director of The Incredible Hulk directing it. But my hype for it has definitely gotten higher since we got the title last year, and we have Jason Momoa as the villain. We have Brie Larson joining this movie and Alan Ritchson. So I am really excited to see another movie with Dominic Toretto and the family trying to go on this other mission, whatever that's going to be. And while I don't know much about it, we're definitely going to get a trailer for it very soon because I love the Fast and Furious franchise, and I'm super excited to see more adventures with family.
You don't turn your back on family.
And more over-the-top insanity for Fast X later this year. In 10th place is Shazam! Fury of the Gods. This is by far my most anticipated DC movie of the bunch we have coming out this year. I love Shazam. It's one of my favorite movies in the DCEU. And so ever since, I've been really excited for this sequel because I love Zachary Levi as Shazam. He's a whole lot of fun. And so as just embodying a teenager who has the abilities to become a godlike superhero with Shazam. And now that we have the Shazam family and the story about him trying to keep the family together all while they deal with the Daughters of Atlas, I really like what I got out of the trailers. It's exactly what I was hoping it would be, have that same tone and vibe from Shazam, but go for a much bigger, grander scale. And I'm hoping it's a lot of fun because I loved Shazam, and I'm hoping this one's just as good. We have David F. Sandberg coming back as the director, and so is Rachel Zegler and Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren being thrown into the mix here. This movie could definitely be another one of the best movies in the DCEU because I love Shazam and everything I've seen here, from the humor to the visuals to the action. It looks really good, and I hope they still have that message and theme of family once again in this movie because overall, I'm really liking what I'm seeing, and I cannot wait to see Shazam! Fury of the Gods this year. In 9th place is Killers of the Flower Moon. Another Martin Scorsese film, so in that case, I have to have it up on the top 10. Martin Scorsese is one of my favorite directors of all time. I love movies like The Departed, Goodfellas, The Irishman, and so has Shutter Island. He's made a lot of fantastic movies in his career, and I really love The Irishman, which he put out a few years back. So I'm really curious to see what he has in store with Killers of the Flower Moon, which is based off of a book, and you have Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio together in a movie by Martin Scorsese. That is so exciting to me because he's worked with Robert De Niro a lot over the years, and he's worked with DiCaprio over the years, and now he's finally getting two actors that he collaborates with a lot in the same movie together, and I'm so excited. I don't know too much about the story and whatnot. It's about an FBI investigation, but because of the director and the cast assembled here, and the fact that it's finally going to come out this year, I think on Apple TV Plus. I'm really looking forward to this one because Scorsese is one of my favorite directors of all time, and I cannot wait till we get closer and closer to the movie's release because I love the director, I love DiCaprio, and I love Robert De Niro, so therefore, Killers of the Flower Moon makes the cut. In 8th place is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. The Ant-Man movies have always known what they want to be. Small-scale, fun MCU movies that never try to be the biggest in the franchise, and therefore I'm really excited for Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania because I love the first Ant-Man, and although Ant-Man the Wasp isn't as good, it's still a really fun and entertaining movie that I watched countless times. But I'm super excited for Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania because it's kicking off Phase 5 of the MCU. We're getting Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror, and Kang is a villain I've been wanting to see in the MCU ever since I watched Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes when I was a young kid a decade ago. So the fact that we're finally getting Kang in the MCU with this movie, so over the moon for that alone, and because I love Paul Rudd and I love him as Scott Lang, so I can't wait to see him again in live action for the first time since Avengers Endgame came out. And so is the fact that it looks like it's going to be a much darker Ant-Man movie. They're all stuck in the quantum realm and this whole other world that they've never been to before, and it's strange for them. But it seems like there's going to be a lot of stakes, there's going to be danger, and so is the fear of what's going to happen to Scott Lang, and so is how it's going to kick off Phase 5 and continue the multiverse saga, because with Phase 4, we really didn't get as much of it the way I expected it to, but I'm really excited for this one nonetheless. It looks like it's going to be the biggest and darkest of the Ant-Man movies, hopefully, and because I love Ant-Man and I love Scott Lang, and so is the fact that we're getting Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror here, I am so excited to see what Peyton Reed and Marvel have in store with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania this February. In 7th place is John Wick Chapter 4. I love the John Wick movies. Keanu Reeves is just an absolute legend, and he is one of the best action stars out there right now. Every John Wick movie has some fantastic action sequences where they one-up the one that came before it. And this definitely is shaping up to be the biggest of the movies. We have Bill Skarsgård as the villain. We're seeing them go to different corners of the world and seeing John Wick go on a mission to fight against the High Table alongside the Bowery King. And I'm so excited for me. The John Wick movies always knew what they want to be. Just fun action movies. The first movie has the best story, but they're so entertaining. They're so rewatchable. They're very well shot. And they're really good to look at. But the action sequences are some of the best in movies, so I am really looking forward to John Wick Chapter 4. It definitely seems like the action's getting bigger in every single one of them, but I love Keanu Reeves, and I love the John Wick movies, so I cannot wait to see how fun and action-packed John Wick Chapter 4 will be. Now, the next 6 are so high on my list because my mood can change on which one's number 1, and all of them are literally the equivalent of being my number 1 most anticipated of the year, just depending on my mood. So for now, I'm going to place it like this, but just know that no matter which movie is up next or at number 5, I am extremely excited for all of them just as much as one another, so keep that one in mind. In 6th place is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. Tom Cruise is one of the best movie stars out there right now. He was a part of my favorite movie of last year being Top Gun Maverick, which was a phenomenal film and a phenomenal legacy sequel. So I am really excited to see what he has in store for Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 because I love the Mission Impossible franchise. It's one of the most consistent franchises right now where, aside from 2, which I do enjoy in ways, each movie is better than the one that came before it for the most part. And Fallout is one of the best action movies I've ever seen. It's my favorite of the franchise. It's intense, thrilling, and jaw-dropping, and I love the characters, and I'm so excited to see what Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise have in store with Dead Reckoning Part 1 because it's the first in a 2-part movie, and so as the fact that we're getting Haley Atwell and Palm Clementieff, and so as characters from previous movies coming back into this one. And I love what I got out of the teaser trailer. It definitely seems like it's going to be another action-packed and jaw-dropping, thrilling movie from the Mission Impossible franchise. And it definitely seems like they're trying to make it the biggest one yet. And knowing Tom Cruise and knowing the stunts that he's trying to do for this movie. I am so excited to see Mission Impossible return to the big screen with Dead Reckoning Part 1. It's probably going to be one of the biggest blockbusters of the year, and I cannot wait for it. In fifth place is Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. Across the Spiderverse looks absolutely amazing from what I've seen in the trailers. It has some of the same animation from Into the Spider-Verse, but so has the fact that it's going to be a bigger movie. We're going to have different universes this time rather than having all of these characters go into Miles' universe. It's Miles going into other universes and hearing about all of these different animation styles from other universes, and the fact that we're seeing yet again another story about Miles Morales as Spider-Man that involves the Spider-Verse. I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this movie for so many years because Into the Spider-Verse is one of my favorite Spider-Man movies. It's one of my favorite comic book movies, and it is one of the biggest surprises I've had in the theater, where I didn't have the highest of expectations, but I was looking forward to it, and I ended up loving it so much that it was one of my favorite movies of 2018, and I am so excited for the sequel because once again, you got Shameik Moore, Haley Steinfeld, Jake Johnson returning alongside having Oscar Isaac as Spider-Man 2099. And this recent trailer is really good, especially for the heartfelt moments between Miles and his mom. And so it's that every Spider-Man and Spider-Person from across the Spider-Verse is attacking Miles. I'm really curious to see what exactly he does to get that response. And so I see the rivalry between Miles and Miguel O'Hara in the sequel, because I'm so excited, because as someone that loves Spider-Man and Into the Spider-Verse, I love what I'm seeing in this trailer, and I'm so excited to see this new story with Miles and Gwen and return to this world this June. In fourth place is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. At last, we're finally getting another Indiana Jones movie with Harrison Ford reprising his role as one of the greatest action characters of all time. I've been waiting for this movie for a very long time. Like I said before, I love Raiders of the Lost Ark, one of my favorite movies ever. I love Temple of Doom, and I love The Last Crusade. And although I wasn't the biggest fan of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, that does not at all diminish any excitement I would have for Dial of Destiny, because I love the character, I love the world of Indiana Jones, and so is the idea that it's set during the space race, and once again, Indiana Jones fighting Nazis this time around, and seeing that we're following a much older Indy who's in this world that seemingly has outgrown him, and now he's no longer this archaeologist he once was, and now he's going back on a mission, once again donning the hat and the whip, and so as going on another Indiana Jones adventure. And I'm so excited. The trailer is one of the best trailers I've seen last year, and James Mangold directing it has me so excited because I love Logan and Ford versus Ferrari, and the fact that everything I've seen from it is everything I'm hoping it would be. It's just the classic John Williams theme, once again with John Williams once again returning to compose the score for Indiana Jones 5, with John Williams reprising his role as the film score composer for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And so as seeing cast members like Antonio Banderas, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Mads Mikkelsen, Boyd Holbrook, all returning. I'm so over the moon for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. It looks phenomenal. It's one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and as someone that loves Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones, and potentially hearing this may actually be his final movie as Indiana Jones, I hope that it's absolutely amazing, and I hope that it's a slam dunk for 2023. In third place is Dune Part 2. Dune Part 1 was one of my favorite movies of 2021. I absolutely loved it. I love the book by Frank Herbert, and I have been waiting for Part 2 ever since I walked out of the theater from Part 1. The fact that it's coming out this year is just shocking because I love Dune and what Denis Villeneuve, who's one of my favorite directors working today, I'm so curious to see what he has in store with Part 2, because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of really exciting things he's going to pull off with Part 2, because as someone who loves the book, there are a lot of things I'm so excited to see in Part 2, especially having Florence Pugh, Christopher Walken, and Austin Butler in this movie. That's just so exciting to me, and so is that we're going to get a lot more of Zendaya as Chani, and another story that once again continues where Part 1 left off. We're going to see Timothée Chalamet return as Paul Atreides, and see as him and the Fremen go to war against the Harkonnens. I am so over the moon for Dune Part 2. If Dune Part 1 was that good, which it ended up being, Dune Part 2 has the chance to be an epic two-part movie with Part 1. And because I love the director and the cast and the crew and how beautiful Part 1 was, I am so excited to see the second half of the story be brought to life, and it's going to be a lot more action-packed, it's going to be a lot more darker, it's going to be a lot crazier, and I am so here for it because in third place, Dune Part 2. In second place is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This is by far my most anticipated Marvel project of the entire year and my most anticipated comic book project of the year because I love the Guardians of the Galaxy. I love what James Gunn has done with these characters for the MCU, making them go from DC-list characters to being fan favorites in the MCU. And so the fact that after all these years, we're finally getting the third and final installment in the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy has me so excited. I love what I saw in the trailers, that the Guardians have awesome matching uniforms, and that we see that Gamora's out there, how Star-Lord's going to feel about it. And so as we're going to get Chukwudi Iwuji as the High Evolutionary, the creator of Rocket. And this movie looks like it's going to break my heart because if Volume 1 and 2 were some of the most emotional movies in the MCU for me, Volume 3 is going to really be that biggest tearjerker movie in the trilogy because it's the last one with this roster of characters, and I love the cast as the Guardians, and I just love these characters so much that I'm just not ready to say goodbye to this era of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and visually it's amazing. We're finally getting Will Poulter's Adam Warlock make his debut in the MCU. And so as seeing the Guardians once again on potentially one last ride as they face the music in this movie and the High Evolutionary's involvement here potentially being the main villain, I am so excited for Guardians 3 because James Gunn's comic book projects have been some of my favorites over the past decade, and I'm so excited to see him close out the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy with Volume 3 this May. But in first place is Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan is probably my favorite film director of all time, so for years I've been really excited to see what Nolan has in store with Oppenheimer because whenever he has a movie, it's guaranteed to be on my top 3 most anticipated movies of the year. And with this one, it has an absolutely stacked cast with Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Robert Downey Jr., Florence Pugh, Jack Quaid, Josh Hartnett, and many more big names in this movie that I was shocked by how many people that have been cast in this movie. And because he's now working with Universal after leaving Warner Brothers after how Tenet played out, and so is the fact that he's made some of my favorite movies of all time with Dark Knight, Inception, Interstellar, The Prestige. And he's a director that I'm always excited for whenever he has a new movie. And now it's going to be a movie that's set during the events of World War II. And we're going to be following the life of J. Robert Oppenheimer and the Manhattan Project as they build the atomic bomb during the events of World War II and how disastrous that ends up being. I'm so excited to see Nolan tell this story. And so is the fact that he actually rebuilt an atomic bomb practically.
Wow, shocker.
It's insane how far he goes to bring this stuff to life, to make it authentic and real. And I really appreciate that with this movie because I really hope an atomic bomb doesn't actually go off in the theaters when I watch this movie. But I am so excited because I love the cast, I love the director, and I love movies about the lives of real people when they're done accurately. And it has all the makings of being a movie that ends up being one of my favorites of the year. And hopefully maybe my favorite movie of the year because I am so excited for Oppenheimer to see what Nolan has in store with this movie and how we see the story of J. Robert Oppenheimer building the atomic bomb. And so as when it detonates, I am really, really excited for this one because in the end, in first place, this summer is Oppenheimer. That's my most anticipated movies of 2023. What's your most anticipated? Let me know down below in the comment section. I'd love to know the movies you're so excited to see this year. Stay tuned for some upcoming videos I have planned. I'm going to do some ranking videos because we're in January and it seems like it's going to be a pretty dry month of movies. So ranking videos will probably be the videos I'll be doing over the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for all that fun stuff coming your way very soon. And don't forget to follow me on social media. My username is down below at the bottom of the screen and in the description below. So please go do that while you're at it. And thank you guys so much for watching. And don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe button. And stay tuned for more.